Hey, what's up everybody? Did you know that 96,000 people move to Las Vegas every single year? The question is why? Well, due to the Fed's interest rate hikes have increased the cost of living for many Americans across the country. Americans are now looking to relocate to Las Vegas because of no state income tax, low unemployment, low cost of living, and affordability for housing. We're also the entertainment capital of the world. So if you are thinking about relocating to Las Vegas, we would like to offer you a free Southern Nevada market report and a relocation guide. All you have to do is click on that link below to claim yours today.
All right, what's up, everybody? Another day, another dollar out here in Las Vegas. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 4 p.m. We are back on track for another episode of the LV Home Experts Podcast. If this is your first time tuning into this show, my name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, we're going to be talking about the housing market and what's going on, and got a very special guest, Jim, and we're going to chat it up. We're going to talk about what's going on with the market. I think this is very important because there's a lot that's taking place. Jim, you are now live. How is everything going?
Wonderful.
Now, just
life in Las Vegas is awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so just kind of a backstory about Jim.
Sure.
We were just talking, okay? So Jim just transferred his license on over here to Simply Vegas. So I want to say congratulations on that.
Awesome. Very glad. I love this brokerage.
Okay.
Came from a big brokerage, and I tell you what, they're doing everything better than that brokerage.
Okay, we're not going to mention names because we don't
names.
throw people under the bus like that, because that's not what we do. What was it about, coming over here than, that company, like what made you transition?
So when I started, I was with a small kind of local brokerage as well, and actually they grew into something big as well. And then I went into a different brokerage, one that was a little bit more international exposure. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, I think I like that small brokerage kind of feel.
More of a boutique.
Yeah,
type.
boutique.
Yeah.
So I like that there's also two offices. You have one in Henderson, you have one in SUMMERLIN. I like that appealed to me too. Mm-hmm. So came, and we had, my buddy came over here, and we were talking about the brokerage and all the benefits. And then so I took the leap, met with Gavin, and it was everything they said and then some. So I really enjoyed the services that they offer. I enjoy that all the back-end stuff that they structured the company with makes it so simple with the videos, the printing, the designing. So it had all the tools that I was looking for, and, been there 4 months now, and working directly with Gavin now too, kind of getting some rebranding going, and just overall it's just been excellent and highly recommended. Great agents here too. They got a lot of agents. The volume's really good. They're number 1 or number 2 in sales volume, and then the price point too is John was just saying they just hit the number 1 in the largest sale price point.
So let me ask you this. You've been in business now for 12 years, correct?
I've been licensed about 10. I started as an investor first.
Okay.
So I did about a year and a half doing investments.
Okay. What type of investments have you been doing? Like flips or?
Yeah, they were flips initially. I did about 5 or 6, and then I realized the market was kind of getting tight.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hey, I'm going to go get licensed and try that side, and that's a whole nother animal. You get licensed, and that's a business in itself. So, so I did all that. But I am currently looking for another investment property right now, but that'll be a rent and hold.
Okay, so you're doing a buy and hold.
Yeah.
What's making you do a buy and hold in today's tough environment with rates being high? In addition to that, your ROI is very low. Like, what's making you consider that right now?
So I watch the market kind of in a very simple format, and I look at, you can basically, I was on the MLS and they had I forgot which page it was, but they had a kind of a scale of what type of market are we in.
Yeah.
And they had seller on one side, they had buyer on one side, and right in the middle was the dot. So we're right in a great market to actually buy and sell. So our market over the last 5 years, if you kind of look at what our markets has been doing in the last 5 years, we've had low inventory. A lot of those years were seller markets,
Yeah.
But as of last year, when the rates actually started to double, May of last year, I've been recommending to buy, because at that point we had the prices they've come down 20-30%, it depends on the home in the area, but they've come down. But now you can go out, you can literally sell a house and you can buy a house. Mm-hmm. In 2020, 2021, it was very difficult. You could sell well, but buying, that was very, very challenging.
Yeah.
And I did see some statistics that did come out, and 80% of people who bought during that time frame had buyer's remorse. And
wow.
Yeah, because it was just, they were buying homes that they didn't have everything they wanted. They were overpaying, wasn't in the right area, things like that they were facing. So right now in today's market, even though the rates are a little bit high, you can still get a good deal and then just watch the rate, and then maybe in a year or two you can get that refi going, and hopefully you get the best of both worlds. You bought a little bit lower, and then you also got a better rate 2 years later.
What's funny that you're saying that, because I'm looking at the market now on the MLS. Mm-hmm. About 9 months ago to about 18 months, okay, there was no homes out there, right?
I know.
For about $350,000 to $450,000. But now there's a lot. Now, it's not a lot compared to like 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, but the market has shifted pretty dramatically, where the pricing has dropped. The only thing that doesn't make sense for me is that to leverage out your money, right, is that the interest rates are high and your returns are still going to be low. But then there are some unicorn properties out there, and I realized, like, wait, are we starting to move into like a market shift? Because you can literally buy a pretty decent home for $400,000 less than like 4 years old. Yeah.
You can get upper 375, 389. I'm seeing nice single stories.
But I mean, they're not really like in the locations I want. They are good locations as far as like rental property is concerned, where you can definitely rent it out. But again, my hiccup right now, it's, look, when I was doing the buy and hold, and this is like 10 years ago, the type of returns, okay, I was looking at, I wouldn't touch anything unless it was over 12%.
Yeah, and you're not gonna find
and
that.
you want to know something nowadays? Yeah. If it's like 8%, I'll take it down.
I know,
but it's very hard.
It is hard.
Now,
but look at it like this.
Yeah.
So maybe you change your thinking, your strategy.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like this and you say, listen, if I can get a $400,000 home, in my return, maybe I'm even a little bit negative cash flow. So meaning maybe I'm putting out $200 a month, but I have a tenant in there that's basically paying most of the principal. All right.
Yeah.
So at that point, let's just say you're paying $250 a month.
$3,000 a year.
Yeah,
okay.
$3,000 a year. So you're paying $3,000 a year for a $400,000 home. So if you look at it like that, they're paying your mortgage. So you have somebody in there, and then they're building the equity for you.
So that's a number one benefit. So they're buying down the equity. You have the tax benefits as well, right?
Yep, tax benefits as well.
Because you can claim that, right? And another thing, you can do the deferred, right?
Yeah.
Is it 29 years or is it 39 years? I always get confused.
Actually, I'm not sure on that either.
Yeah, I think it's 29 years. Commercial is 39 years, or it's the other way around. I don't know, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Okay, we do have a lot of comments here, but we'll get to your comments a little bit later.
But I love when you're in a position where they're building your equity. And you can do that. So, but then look at the bigger picture. So then take a step bigger and say, okay, let's look at the Las Vegas market in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So right now, maybe we're in a little bit of a challenge with the interest rate, and you're trying to make the numbers totally work. Might be a little bit difficult to make it to work out to where it's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you can get in that scenario, we're still in low inventory.
Yeah.
I mean, the nation's, what I've heard, anywhere from 3.5 to 5 million short on homes.
I thought it was more than that.
It feels like it should be more than that.
Yeah.
But that's last report I heard, it was 5 million short. So it could be more. But if you look at that, that's something that's going to be with us for years.
And you know the other fascinating thing I was reading this article that about 63% of the homes are actually owned free and clear.
I did hear, the statistics.
That is like insane to me.
Yeah.
So it's like if you own a home free and clear, it's like
you're in a great position.
You're in a good position. Yeah. So that really ties up the market.
It does.
Then a certain percentage, right? I think that's like 30% are under 4% or even lower, right?
Yeah.
That they can't just give up their house. Like I'm in a house today where I'm only paying like $940 a month, and my rate is at 3.2. My home right now is only worth like $450,000, but I paid like $195. I overpaid for it during 2000 and I think it was like 2009. It was a bank-owned property from Bank of America, but I personally wanted that property because the position of that home, where the lot was, where the house was, but I wanted that property. But my point is, I'm in that group of buyers where I have a choice, okay? My choice is I could sell this home, take the profits, reposition, but then I have a bigger, better home, but then my payments are going to be more, but then my lifestyle has changed where now, you know, I got to play the rat race game and I got to fork more money into the house, or I could just stay tight and still live comfortable the way I live. And I think a lot of people are currently in that position.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
And adding to the equation, we're like less than I'm like 2 weeks away from the election.
I know.
And, you know, this is a perfect storm because now we are coming into the holidays.
Yep.
And people are like, okay, my kids are in school. We've got Halloween, right?
Yep.
We've got Thanksgiving. We've got Black Friday.
Yep.
We've got Cyber Tuesday, right? What else do we have? We have Christmas Eve. Yeah, we have all these holidays.
New Year's Eve. Yeah.
And typically during the winter, people don't come out that much statistically, right?
Right.
So they kind of retract. So, you know, if you are an agent out there, this is a good time to take a vacation. Anywhere from December 15th all the way to January 1st.
Or work, because a lot of agents will be taking the time off.
Yes.
But we initially started with the investment property. So these all help you as an investor because if you have less activity in the market, you have sellers getting more motivated.
Yeah.
So for the long-term play, I see what you're saying. If you're in a position where you have good equity, because most people do, low interest rate, does it make sense to maybe make that change? That's something that you'd really have to look at and look at what you want to do and achieve.
So it just really
investment play, I think it's a great time.
So it really depends on your financial situation.
Sure.
And if you want to get into the real estate game, okay? If you're going to do a buy and hold, and I'm going to give you a rebuttal, I'm going to say it does not make sense because here's the thing. Let's just say if you were cash flowing $200 a month, that's $2,400 a year. Another thing that you have to take a look at by owning a piece of property, there's a couple things against you in today's market. A piece of property is very hard to liquidate. It's not like the stock market.
Right,
Stock market starts to crash, you can pull out.
Yeah.
Real estate, you cannot pull out. So if you're going to get into the real estate investment game, guys, you really need to know what you are doing or get with somebody that has the experience, like Will, okay, that knows what he's doing.
Jim.
Why do I say, you know what it was? I actually mixed up your last name. My bad.
Yeah. Jim Wicklund.
Jim Wicklund.
Yep. Will, we don't know Will. We got rid of Will.
You want to know something, Jim?
Yeah.
As soon as we're done with this podcast, York is about to storm in here and he's about to kill me.
Why?
He's going to say, how many times I told you his name is Jim?
Oh.
And I've been calling you Will all day today.
Oh, have you really?
Yes.
Actually, you know something funny?
Yeah.
I thought your nickname was Chris.
Really?
I've been saying Chris, yeah.
So sometimes I get Chris, or you know what I get a lot is Chuck or Charles for some reason.
Oh, okay, yeah. Robin at the front said, I've heard someone say Chuck.
But no, there ain't no Chuck here.
Well, we're first initially meeting today, so.
Yes.
So it's all good.
So I want to go back, okay?
Yes.
So you're making $2,400 a month, which is, $2,400 a year. Okay.
Or even if it's costing you $2,400 to hold that property.
Well, I just want to give you this rebuttal. It's $2,400 a year that you're making cash flow. But also you have to take in consideration the year of the home that you are buying.
Yes.
Okay. If you're buying a home that's 15 years old, it's probably not as efficient as it is today where we're building homes.
Agree.
Okay. So you got to take a look at the AC unit. Let's just say the AC unit goes out. The condenser goes out. That's $1,200 just for that condenser. If it's an R22, now you got to replace the whole system. Now we're talking about $15,000. So I'm not trying to tell my audience, do not invest. Just be aware of what you are doing, okay? Now, that being said, okay, if you are going to do a buy and hold, the best strategy today is if you can find a property, okay, that nobody's submitting an offer on, it needs a lot of work, it can't get financing, but you do have the cash, this would be my play. I would come in, okay, cash and buy cash, but look at the cost of the rehab. Make sure your numbers are on point where you can make those returns. Can you make an 8% return in today's market? Yes. Because now once you go in and you rehab it, now you can force the rents back up to where it needs to be. Now you have a home that's up and running. I've done this multiple times, time and time again. However, it has come to a point where I've taken all 8 properties. I've liquidated all my properties. Okay. I'm sitting heavy on cash, but if we currently look at my portfolio right now, I'm 65% heavy in real estate, okay? Because I said I pulled my money back out, but check this out. I went back into the marketplace, found another property. I changed my strategy. This is the strategy now I'm going with. I'm actually flipping another home. So I bought a 6,000 square foot home for $1.1 million. I'll put 4 into it. I know it's worth about $2.2 million. Okay? So again, now I'm taking my money, redeploying it and making some money. But then also you have to take a look at your financial situation. You don't want to dump everything all into real estate, right?
No.
So another thing is that look, I'm not a tax guy. I'm not a financial guy. I'm just telling you what I do, okay? Because the market can swing anyway.
Yeah, it's a risk investing.
Now, I'm taking 25%, okay? I have heavy on cash, okay? Because if shit does hit the fan, I know because I bought my property right. Even though I put $400,000 into it, I still can still make it and make a profit because I still have all that margin, right? In addition to that, I'm still 25% heavy on cash because that always gives me an opportunity, especially on a declining market like this. Now, when I say declining, I mean properties are not moving as fast as they used to. 28 days on the market. You may think that is a very long time, but believe it or not, 28 days is still fast. It's not like really how we were used to, like 3-4 days on the market. The problem is that we get so used to the marketplace.
Just like low interest rates. You got used to low interest rates. Now people don't want to do anything. So they're a little high right now.
So the point here is that I'm trying to provide to my audience, you have to take a look at your situation, right? Your financial situation, see where you stand. If you're looking to create a portfolio, does it actually make sense? And you know, you need to sit down with you and your wife, take a look at your financial situation and say, hey, look, if this is something you want to do, you got to make sure you're making the right plays here. Because if you're going all in and you only have a certain dollar amount and
you're stretching yourself too much,
that doesn't make any sense. Because I've seen this in 2008 where I had friends 15 properties over leverage.
I know.
Same situation here. Hey, don't worry about it. It's you're gonna eat $200, or you're just gonna break even, or you're gonna make $200 a month, right? It doesn't make any sense. Now, again, it's gonna be a case by case basis, but this is not about me. But I just want to give you an example here. Okay, so like I said, I have some money, right? Cash. It doesn't make any sense for me to buy 4, 5, 6 properties all cash. Then I'm cash flowing $10,000 a month, $12,000 a month, when I could take that money, reinvest it in flipping properties, and make my money within a 6-month period. But I can quadruple that money by like 100 folds, 10 folds, whatever it is, right? It's like, why make $10,000 a month when I know I can flip a property and make $600,000 in 7 months? My rate of return is so much greater.
Oh, it is.
But is there a risk? There again, guys, there is a risk. And I don't mean to over talk you. And I know that earlier you were like, hey, man, I'm a talker. I'm a talker too, especially when it comes to real estate, bro. I can talk all day long.
That's awesome. That's what we're doing. Let's talk about this, you know.
But go ahead.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I caution, when I work with buyers or investors, actually we just put one in escrow on investor side. Numbers are fantastic. It's a probate, so hopefully we can stay with those numbers. But you've got to come with a plan and work with that plan. And that plan includes everything that we just talked about and that you just talked about as well, the property type, the potential pitfalls in it. And once you have that plan identified exactly how you're going to achieve it and what you're going to do, then you can move forward with that. In my case, my plan's already set. So I'm okay where I can kind of just break even, we'll say, because I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, because this is all risk and reward. So my risk is going to be, I believe that in the next 10 years in this market, with what we have, the basketball coming, we've got NBA's coming. I saw the renders, the drawings for that. We've got Formula One for another 9 years after this year. It'll be 8. We have, what else? What else is coming? There's Junior Hollywood. We've got like all this great stuff on the table, and I think the values will go up. So I'm taking a little bit of a risk saying I'm going to bet on that.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a little risk on that. It's totally fine. I can use this as a long-term play. So if the market does go down, it's only going to hurt me if I sell.
Yeah.
So my plan is that I'm not selling for a while, so I'll be okay in that. And if I have to spend $3,000 a year for the maintenance or whatever, or maybe I'm taking a little bit of a loss, I pay $3,000 a year on a $400,000 house. That's to me, that's good. It's worth the risk.
Well, so let me ask you this though. Let's say if that scenario does happen.
Yeah.
But typically when the housing market drops, guess what else drops? Right? Rental rates.
Yeah, and they're dropping extra right now.
So if rental rates drop, then you can barely cover your mortgage, then you may be losing additional a few $100s more, because what normally happens here is when the housing market drops, renters start to realize, hey, I'm actually overpaying for rent on this home. What I can be paying, my credit is good now. I'm going to go into the marketplace because now the marketplace makes sense. Or I can continue renting, but the only way to keep them in there, you would have to drop your rents.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I want my audience to keep in mind, because that could be a possibility. And I'm not trying to attack you in any way, right? I just want to give
feel that at all.
I just want to give the rebuttal because at the end of the day, this channel is about education and education only, because I want the audience to make their own decision.
Totally.
Okay. And that's important, because I don't want to be like all other agents in the Valley. Okay. Right now is a good time to buy. Right now is a good time to buy. Right now is a good time to buy. Right. It's all going to be a case by case basis.
100%. And that's how I operate. I meet with clients and we figure out and we talk. So I look at real estate, and it sounds like you do exactly the same, is I'm not looking at just from one dimension, like, oh, interest rates are low.
Yeah.
Or sale price is low. I'm looking at everything, and that includes their plans. And like my plan right now for investing is not going to be everyone's plan. The thresholds of investors is all different and what their plan and their goals are. So me looking at what I'm doing, someone might be listening to this saying that makes no sense to me. I would never do that. I'm doing a totally different route in that. But even when I'm working with buyers, just regular first-time home buyers or whatever, we're creating a plan that makes sense for them, and we're looking at the whole scope of it: the house, the market, the rates, the pricing, everything. We're looking at all of that, because in the end, it's never one size fits all. Like, oh, great, that worked for this client. Let's do exactly the same for this client. Never have I done that, ever. I take a very custom approach to this. So when it comes to investing, everyone has different strategies. When it comes to buying their home, they have different strategies and goals too. So we just find those out. And you got to work in that comfort zone and be patient. Be patient. Pays off in real estate.
Okay, so let me ask you this, okay? The current market right now, what are you seeing that's taking place? I want your perspective. What's going on?
So right now in this market, the rates are getting higher. I mean, right now we're at sevens.
I know. I thought it was supposed to drop. What happened?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's going to drop.
It follows the 10-year yield, and that's going up. So right now we have rates that are going up. So you got to be really tricky with that. Like if you're a buyer, you've got to create that plan with your agent and work with an agent. Don't get your neighbor or your online advice. Get an experienced agent, interview agents, find somebody you feel comfortable working with, and then create that plan and then work with that plan in the market. So if you're a buyer, I still think it's a good time to buy, but you've got to be patient. It has to make sense. We're starting to see homes. For the first time, I'm seeing homes in the $200,000 range.
You know what's crazy is,
and the $300,000 that are good homes.
Now,
I haven't seen that in years.
I've told my audience this from time and time again.
Yeah.
Okay. When is actually the best time to buy, especially if you're buying a brand new home or even resale homes?
Yeah.
It's actually the fourth quarter. Okay. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I had a client last week. Okay. He only had a certain dollar amount out of pocket. Okay. And these are obviously the thing a good agent would ask, hey, how much money do you actually have? Okay. I'm not trying to get in your financial situation, but I need you to provide me this information so I can help you to make sure we have enough money, right? Because obviously we need reserves. We know how the contracts are negotiated based upon today's customary practices, who pays for what. We can kind of calculate the numbers to see if it makes sense. So we actually found a home, right, brand new home from a builder, and the deal was going back and forth. We couldn't make it work. I had to make sure that we got a certain type of interest rate so that way I can get him down to his payment, okay? Also, I was able to get a price reduction, right?
Yeah.
$87,000 off, okay? On top of that, okay, I was able to squeeze another $16,000.
Yeah.
$16,000 for the seller to pay for the buyer's closing costs.
It's huge. That's huge.
Dude,
Yeah.
this kid is a first-time home buyer, and I explained to him, I said, look, what you are buying this home for, this is what it appraises at.
Yeah.
Like, we could literally close on this home. I could put this thing back on the market with all the fees associated. You'll make over $40,000. Like, this was just an opportunity, but also I was able to get his interest rate down so low to the point where he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like 4.5%, right?
Yeah.
He was so stoked. And on top of that, he was like, wait, I don't have enough money. I said, don't worry about it. We got you 16 grand.
Yeah. To cover.
The cover. So he just had to come down with his down payment. I couldn't believe it.
So think of this.
Yeah.
Go back 2 years.
Yeah.
Could you have gotten that kind of deal put together?
No, but here's the thing though. Not that kind of deal.
Yeah.
But again, this is where I say, like, if you're going to buy, and normally when I buy is always on the fourth quarter, believe it or not, because the resale sellers the resale homes, those sellers that have their home on the market, they're probably more motivated to sell.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to corporate companies, right, all these builders, you have to understand that these are stockholders that are behind these corporate companies, and they got to please these people. So the numbers got to work. Because the margins on these homes, on these new home builds, they're like 35%, believe it or not. See, guys, I'm about to drop some bombs on you, and that's the truth. 35% on these margins. They have enough room to move.
Plus, they control the whole deal. They do title. They do lending.
Yeah.
So they're making money in all of it.
Yeah, so you just get anus rape all the way around.
Yeah. But see, you put together a fantastic deal for your client in this market.
Yeah.
And
it was hard. It was hard to find.
It's not easy.
It wasn't easy.
Nope.
Trust me. I literally had to dig through shit like this.
But you can do
No
it in
gloves.
this market. And now if you say, all right, let's say the rates start to come down. They get to more, I don't know. I think rates they'll flatten out on the 5.5 or whatever. I don't think we're going to see the 3s. Could be wrong though. But once you start to get that rate coming down, now you get more buyers coming in the market. We still have low inventory. So you add that in there, all of a sudden these incentives that sellers are giving right now are going to go away. So if you're waiting just for the rates to drop, well, guess what? Everybody else is too. So when that day happens, everybody else is coming in. Now all of a sudden the values are going up. And then now you're competing.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at more homes. You're writing more offers. You're looking at homes that might not work, but you're like, I'm getting tired of this process. I want to get a home. So right now, that's why I say you got to be cautious. And if you're selling and you got to buy, once again, go back to the plan and design a great plan. What I'm doing with clients right now, too, is if they want to sell, I'm taking them in the market first. So before we even list, we're looking at homes. Does it make sense? Are you seeing properties you like at the price point that have everything that you're looking for? And if we're not, we're pulling back. If we are, let's get started. So all of it right now, you got to be so cautious in this market. But like you said, the deals are there. You got to work. You got to be patient. As an agent, you got to be patient.
Yeah.
And as a seller or buyer, you got to make sure on the seller side that you can see it. You can buy the property you want. And then, because you sell wise, you're going to sell at a respectable level right now.
Yeah.
So.
Now, on the flip side, is this. There are some homes in the marketplace, soon as it hits the market, it's gone.
I know.
Here's the reason why. If it's a great location,
Yep.
okay, if the condition of the home is in tip-top shape, where the buyer doesn't have to do anything,
Yeah.
home is well maintained, it's super clean, it goes just like that.
And it's priced right.
And it's priced right.
You got
That
to
is
price it
correct.
right in this market. You can't. You're not going to get that little extra 5,000-10,000.
So it's kind of a hit and
25,000.
miss. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. If you are a seller in today's market, okay, you're going to have some challenges. Number
Absolutely.
one, you're not only competing against the people in your neighborhood, but now you're competing against the people in your community in the Las Vegas Valley. Here's why. I work with buyers that are buying, $500,000, $800,000 homes. Okay. We start off in Henderson. They don't really find anything that really piques their interest. What happens? Let's expand our search a little bit.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. You know what? Let's take a look at the whole Las Vegas Valley. Let's see what my money is buying.
Yeah.
So if you are a seller out there, you have to think like this, because now it is becoming a buyer's market,
I totally agree.
not a seller's market. It's only a seller's market if you price it correctly and you have a piece of property that's like perfect.
Very desirable.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, because right now I track a lot of zip codes.
Yeah.
And right now I'm seeing a lot of back on markets. I'm seeing a lot of price decreases. I'm seeing big price decreases too. So as a seller, if you want to go down that road that's going to be a little rough and bumpy, then don't listen to your agent. Do all the things that you read online or whatever, and it's going to be a bumpy road. So as a seller, you got to be very right on point with your numbers and with your product.
Now, if we take a look at some flip properties, because I have a lot of friends that this is their business. They just do like flip properties, right? And their properties are moving. But if you look at the year of their home, they're like 15, 20 years old. But these guys are going in and rehabbing the home, but they're keeping their price point around the $550 and below. These things are moving like that.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it's
seeing a lot
clean.
of flips out there too.
Yeah.
A lot. So they're doing a good job. Actually, the flips I see are really good.
Now, on the flip side, where we're having, properties at the 700,000, the rehabbers, right, the flippers, it's not moving at that price point. It's stuck. Why? Because they got the white shaker cabinets, LVP flooring, straight edge baseboards, white countertops. It's all the same product. And at that price point, people are not buying because
looking for a little bit more.
it's a little bit too high for that type of materials and products that they're using. But like I said, anything below the 550 range, people are getting in and they're looking across the valley. They realize like, wow, you get all of this for this price?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are moving.
Yep. And here's the thing too, is on the upper end, on the flip side, and you could even take it on the lower side too, is the buyers, they're in the driver's seat. I mean, they're looking for their property. They're at a time right now where they don't have to leave the house and write an offer. They can go think about it. They can go and look at, even though inventory's low, they're still out there because we don't have a lot of buyers out there.
Yeah.
So the buyers are in a good position right now. So I still say, right now I look at it like this. If I had a whiteboard, I could draw it out for you. Is you have a seller on one side, you have a buyer on the bottom, you have a line in the middle.
Yeah.
In that middle, that's where you could draw a circle in the middle and then bring the box from the seller down to that